What is up, you guys? It's Emma, and today I'm giving you my top 10 lyric writing tips for any beginners out there that are just getting started. I'd like to cover some methods and exercises to help you with your lyric writing and show you some things that you might want to keep in mind when it comes to writing your next song. So let's do this. Themes and topics. In my first songwriting tips video, which you guys can watch here, I talked about how brainstorming is a great way to collect your ideas for song themes. So to give you some inspiration, I wanted to highlight some popular themes seen throughout songs from different genres. And we might as well start with the most obvious. Love and relationships. This is the most common theme we see across songs from all different genres and all different decades. And the reason this is so popular is because it's something that everybody can relate to. The audience knows what it feels like to want a relationship, to fall in love, and to get their hearts broken. Another reason why it's used so much is because there are so many underlying themes that writers can work with. You got lust, breakups, makeups, forbidden love, marriage, divorce. You could even say the 7 deadly sins fit in there somewhere. Living for the weekend. Again, another common theme that audiences can relate to is partying, dancing, the idea of escaping that 9 to 5 routine and getting yourself to the club, all encapsulated in a 3-minute song. Seasonal songs. There are people out there that love a good Christmas song, even when it's not the season to be jolly. But I'm not just talking about Christmas songs here. A seasonal song could be about summer, autumn, fall, Halloween, Valentine's Day, any event that happens every year. And the reason this theme is so popular is because it's needed. They're a part of an annual cycle of celebrations. We all love hearing the sound of Mariah and jingly sleigh bells resurfacing every 12 months. Don't we? No? Just me? I've written a seasonal song myself called New Year's Eve Kiss. If you guys are interested in taking a look, I'll leave a link in the description below. So there's endless amounts of themes that you could do. You could write about a specific place, a person, you could get political, you could write about friendship, family, traveling. These are just a few ideas that might inspire you, but remember, writing around the same theme just because everyone else isn't always the way to go. It's about figuring out an idea or theme that you're passionate about, and then working your style of writing around your genre. You don't have to meticulously plan a theme to your song if that's not your style. Just pick up a pen and see what happens. You'll probably surprise yourself. Lyric timeline. A great method to try when writing is to plot out a basic timeline for your song. If you imagine your song as a story, this should be relatively easy for you to do. For example, let's say I want to write a song about being a kid at heart. In my chorus, I want to establish an overview of what my song is about, and I'll probably include the title in there somewhere as a hook for the song. We're so young, we're at the start, and I will always be a kid at heart. We're at the start of something. Okay, so now that I have a basic idea of what my chorus might be, I'm going to start plotting my timeline for my verses. So in my first verse, the story might focus on having fun, causing trouble, finding love, however I want my story to start. Then moving up our timeline to our second verse, I'll probably start thinking about making some progress in my storyline. Typically, a middle 8 is the section of the song where there's a contrast in not only the music and chord progression, but also in the lyrics. So maybe I'll change my storyline from my middle 8 and ask the question, what if? What if my love interest doesn't like me if I'm just a big kid at heart? So once I have some rough notes on my plotted timeline, I can start drafting lyrics around my different sections. Timelining is a good technique to use to get your story into a kind of sequential order, so it's a little bit easier for your listener to follow. Remember that some songs won't have a defined timeline. This is just an example, so remember other songs might have a completely different structure and completely different form. But try out this technique and see if it works for you. Phrasing and syllables. Now this might be obvious for a lot of you, but I'm going to point it out for those of you that might be a little bit unsure. Your phrasing will contribute to the structure of your song. For example, the beginning of Nirvana's chorus for Smells Like Teen Spirit. With the lights out, it's less dangerous. Here we are now, entertain us. There's 4 syllables in each line. Although the second line does have 5 syllables, the way it's sang in the song, the word dangerous, is shortened to dangerous to match the phrasing of the other lines in that chorus. Phrasing is something to keep in mind early on when you start to write your lyrics. But remember, it's something you can always come back to if you just want to focus on your lyrical theme for now. Once you have a melody and rhythm later on, you can always revisit your lyrics and alter the phrasing. Remember though, cramming in too many syllables per line can make your verses sound a little bit rushed and overcrowded, and can displace certain words where you need more emphasis. As an exercise, try deconstructing a verse and chorus of your favorite song at the minute. Freestyling. A great exercise to get you into the creative flow is to record your stream of consciousness. What you'll need is a pen and notepad, a laptop to note down your ideas, or a microphone if you prefer to freestyle your lyrics and melody. All you have to do is write, sing, or say the very first thing that comes to your mind. Whatever thoughts are hanging there in your head, don't think twice. Write it down or sing it out loud. Perhaps you're thinking about something that happened to you yesterday, or you're thinking about a current world event. It could be as simple as thinking about an object in the room you're in, like a vase of flowers. Write down as much descriptive detail as you possibly can and ask yourself as many questions as you can think of. You'll find that writing your thoughts down like this is a way to see on paper how you're connecting different ideas in your head, moving on from one to the next. Sometimes what you write down or sing out loud will be completely nonsensical, and that's fine too. You're just starting a new string of ideas in your head. Think of it as a flow of conversation. This is just one writing exercise you can use to get yourself into that creative flow before you go on to write your lyrics. Is it real life or just fantasy? Writing fictional lyrics gives you complete free rein with the story that you want to tell. Maybe you've imagined a character. You have the power to put that character into any situation you choose. You could write them into your lyrics as a love interest, a superhero, or maybe even a terrible person, and you're writing a song about how they learn their lesson. A great example of a fictional character in a song would be Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, who, as we all know, is not Michael's lover. He sings about a crazed girl claiming that her child is his son. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but as far as I could find on the interwebs, Billie Jean wasn't a real person in Michael's life. If you do end up writing a fictional character into your lyrics, just expect your audience to question whether that character is connected to you, the writer, on a personal level. And here's why I say this. I wrote a song called Jezebel a few years ago. It was about a girl who was a complete mess, and she'd toy around with boys' hearts and was a complete troublemaker. The chorus of the song expresses how Jezebel is apologizing for all the bad things that she's done. The first time I performed this song to an audience, I was immediately asked after my set who Jezebel was. Was she somebody I knew, somebody I disliked? Was I writing about myself? But the truth is, Jezebel is a completely made-up character. But my audience still empathized with Jezebel's song, some of them even saying that they knew people like her. Even though she was fiction, they still related to her story, and she inspired curiosity of my audience who wanted to know the connection I had to the character. On the flip side, you might want to write lyrics about something that's personally happened to you. An event that's happened in your actual life is great fuel to throw on the songwriting fire. You're attaching your personal feelings and real-life events to your lyrics. You'll probably write your best songs this way. Now, this is awesome to do, but remember to consider what your audience wants to actually hear. Are you writing your song to blow off steam, or are you writing to share your personal experiences in the hopes that your audience can relate? The key word to remember here is relatable. There are audiences out there in search of songs and lyrics that they can connect to and say, hey, I feel like that, I can relate. Also, don't be afraid to exaggerate a little and throw in a bit of fiction with your real life story. Maybe you were walking home from work in the rain, the sky was grey and you're soaked through, but it was the day that you met your new girlfriend or boyfriend. But wait, what happened to you that day was a good thing. You met a new love, found a new crush, so why shouldn't the sun be shining in your lyrics? Don't be afraid to change it up a little bit and try and match your imagery to the mood you want your lyrics to evoke, unless you want a deliberate juxtaposition between imagery and the mood of your song. Let's talk imagery next. Imagery is going to be the thing that immerses your listeners into the storyline of your lyrics. Imagine your song as a blank canvas. You want colour, you want imagery, and you want whoever's looking at your canvas or listening to your song to feel something. You want to stir up their emotions real good. Everyone has their own image perception, and what I mean by this is if I say the word cat to you, you will imagine a picture of a cat in your head, right? You don't think of the word cat, you see a mental image of a physical feline. Now that's your own image. Another person will picture a cat too, but their cat will probably be a little bit different. Maybe it's got ginger hair or like a stubby tail. Maybe it's a cartoon cat, whatever. So remember, when you're including rich imagery in your lyrics, it's almost like you're telling your story in a million different ways. Each listener will perceive the imagery you're giving them in their own unique way. Analyze. Ask yourself, if you were in the listener's shoes, would your lyric move you? What would your reaction be? Would it stir something up inside you that made you really emotional and want to hear more? That's what you should always aim to do. You can always ask a friend to critique your lyrics to see if they enjoy it. As a little exercise, think back to the last song that made you stop in your footsteps. A song that really struck a chord with you. Why was that your reaction? What was it in that song that you related to so much? Take those qualities of the song that you love and ask yourself if your lyrics are doing the same. Address. It's important to keep your address consistent through your lyrics, and for those of you that might not be on top of this, let me show you what I mean. She, he, or they. This shows that you're writing about others, someone else who is not yourself. Like 5 Seconds of Summer's She's Kind of Hot Though. She wants to dance like Uma Thurman from Fall Out Boy. Eric Clapton's They Call Me the Breeze. We or us. This shows you're addressing a collective, like a group of people, maybe a group of friends. Like Miley's We Can't Stop. Macklemore's Can't Hold Us. Using this address can put across an idea of togetherness and allegiance. You, me, and I. Usually the artist is singing about themselves meeting a guy or a girl, and the lyrics show them singing directly to that person or about themselves. Like Olly Murs' I Just Wanna Dance With You Tonight, Lady Gaga's You and I, or Foo Fighters' Best of You. Although it's good fun to keep your address the same throughout your lyrics, there are some exceptions where a change in this can contribute really well to your storyline. A great example of this is Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy. Towards the start of the song, Avril sings, he was a boy, she was a girl, he was a skater boy, she said, see you later boy. But through the middle eight and the final chorus, Avril enters the storyline herself, singing, sorry girl, but you missed out, tough luck, that boy's mine now, I'm with the skater boy, I said see you later boy. Avril Lavigne swooped in there, stolen Skater Boy for herself, and completely changed up who's in the storyline, which makes for a really fun and engaging lyric. Rhyme scheme. I wanted to cover this for those of you that might be unfamiliar with what a rhyme scheme is. So here's an example. Think of your rhyme scheme as the patterns of rhymes in your song. It started out as nothing, I didn't see it coming, had the sunlight in my eyes. You hit me like a heat wave, became the thing that I crave, yeah, your lovin's got me high. In this example, lines 1 and 2 rhyme, so let's label them both A. The third line doesn't rhyme with the previous one, so we're going to label that B. Moving on, heat wave and crave both rhyme, so we'll label these two lines C, but our last line rhymes with our third one, eyes and high, so we can label this one B as well. So we've determined that our rhyme scheme for this verse is AAB, CCB. When it comes to structuring your lyrics, it's a good idea to keep your rhyme schemes consistent throughout your verses. This way, your listener will know where they are in the song. There's various rhyme schemes that you guys can try for your own song. So as a little exercise, try writing a verse or two in the comments with this rhyme scheme. AAB, AAB. Break it down. It's good to be a little self-critical when it comes to choosing the final lyrics for your song. Sometimes it can be difficult to be selective and drop off lyrics where they're not needed, but sometimes breaking it down like this is the perfect finishing touch. Now, I'm not saying strip off the rough edges and throw them away. Reserve those lyrics and keep them for your other ideas. When you have so many ideas for a new song, it's so easy to get carried away and want to include them all. But things can get overcrowded and unclear. This applies to when we talked about phrasing and syllables earlier as well. So try refining your lyrics a few more times, perhaps simplify the phrasing, take out a word here or there where it's not needed, and get a second opinion from a friend or colleague before you sign off on a finished song. There you go, you guys. I really hope these tips help you with your lyric writing. If you have any tips that you want to share or have any questions you want to ask, leave them in the comments below. I'd also like to ask you guys to go check out Rick Barker's channel. He has some really interesting videos that give you an insight into different areas of the music industry. If you guys have enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below what songwriting tips you would like to see next.